What's up, y'all? So, man, I'm gonna call these roll-up session talks because I've been noticing, like, when I be rolling up and I be doing this, I be having some like best blunts. So these are my roll-up session talks where I roll my joints for the time being, and I talk about what's on my mind as I'm doing it. It gives a highly reflectionable experience because nothing is everything. I just read that on the wall, but nothing is everything. Talk about prophetic words. But like, I don't know, a lot of shit been on my mind lately. Like, life been lifing lately, and I've been using that phrase a lot. But it's this older man at my school. He say, "What does that mean?" In that moment, I couldn't give him a straight answer. Like, I went on like a little short little rant on what it means to me type shit. But then ever since then, I just been thinking about it. Life been life, and life been doing what life does when life does what it does type shit. And it's like, man, I just had a conversation with somebody this morning, and that's the same thing we said. Like, that's how we ended the conversation for real. Like, life is gonna do what it's gonna do, but it's up to you to figure out how you gonna move regardless. And it's like, man, so many things happen in life, so many things we take for granted, but what really matters is the spaces, places, people, ideas, things, events, whatever that we pour our energy into. Like, so much happens in the world that we take for granted, the small things and the things that's literally put in our place to change our lives. We don't always look at it as this great thing. If it's this small type shit. This is a lot in a sense. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, it has to be part of a whole, but it's still part. And it's like, you can have this whole flower and it'll break down. You break down, what if you lose this little part? You're gonna be hurt. And it's like, all of it comes together to create one amazing product. But I'm not gonna use no more of those types of examples because I don't want to get flagged on YouTube. But it's like the realest thing, like, because the example I used was okay, so us being from the hood, we see what we see. We see buildings that's not that tall, that's raggedy and stuff like that. But when you go downtown, you see how tall a building can get. You see how much you can stretch space, how high things can go. You see the potential that you don't really see much in the hood. And it's like, in order to grow, in order to see life differently, we have to be open to looking at life differently. Like, when I was younger and going to church and stuff, we learned that scripture in the Bible where it say, bad company corrupts good character. And like, with me being who I am, I experienced life through things I heard people say, things I read, and different things like that. So it's like, something that really blew my mind was, you can't judge a millionaire from a thousandaires perspective. So it's like, if you a worker and you only making this much, but your boss is making that much, and they doing what they doing, you doing what you doing. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure the boss been where you been. But if you ain't never been where the boss been, then how can you ever understand the decisions that the boss make? Like, it be levels to shit. Like, a lot of people don't be wanting to talk about shit like that. Or then when people do talk about shit like that, not everybody understands it clearly. because they judging the boss from a thousandaires perspective. You judging the boss from an employee perspective. Like, nah, until you're able to be a boss and live like a boss dude, make decisions that bosses make, you won't ever get to see why the boss thinks the way the boss do. Like, that's why I be careful with my words and stuff. Like, you never know who you talking to. You never know who you in the presence of. Like, it's levels to it. Like, the person that you treated the worst could be the person that changed your life. But it comes from you opening your mind and learning how to move accordingly. Because that's the thing about looking at everything from a perspective, from a higher perspective or a lower perspective. You have to, either way, whatever way you looking at it, you got to move accordingly. Like, everything not going to be what you think it is. Everything can't be what you want it to be. It has to be what it is. And then eventually it'll grow into whatever it is. It could grow into whatever you want it to be. But at the moment right now, as it's still forming, it just is. Just like if you plant a seed in the ground and it takes a bamboo tree, for example, a bamboo shoot. Like, for 5 years, it stays stuck in the ground. Then after 5 years, it just shoot up. For those 5 years, you can't do nothing but water it, tend to it, nurture it. And it's like, you have to allow it to show you what it wants to do first, and allow it to just be what it is. You can't just sit there and tell it to grow. No. You telling it to grow is by nurturing it, but you also got to understand, like, things gonna do what they gonna do. Like, you trying to force everything will literally drive you fucking insane. And it's like, at some point, something gotta give. Like, you owe it to yourself to see life from a different perspective than what you see it through. I don't know, this seemed like a crazy rant that I'm on right now, but I know that whoever listening, they can understand it based on their own life experiences. Because I understand what I'm saying, but it's not a guarantee that everybody's gonna understand what I'm saying. And I learned, like, shit not meant for them. Everything in life like that happens, it ain't meant for everybody. Like, we became so accustomed to having thoughts that are similar to each other that when someone have a thought that everybody don't agree with, that we feel like they wrong, when it's like, no, they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all. They just looking at it from a different perspective. Like if I go outside and I say the sky is blue, my grandma go outside and say that the sky is blue. My little sister go outside and say that the sky is blue. But then you got someone else that's colorblind that go outside and they say that it's gray. Who are we to tell them that they wrong if they colorblind? They're right. We just disagree. And it's okay to disagree with some stuff that people be saying. Like, you don't have to agree with everything. Like, another quote, like, if it's two people that think the same, there's no need for two people. So if me and you thinking the same, we only it's only one of us is needed in the environment. But it's like, that's why I learned that phrase when I was younger. Like, you are the company that you keep. Bad company corrupts good character. So if you ain't around people that's enabling the power of thought and showing you that you're able to grow as an individual, then you're gonna be stuck and stagnant in this fixed environment, feeling like you outgrew a pair of shoes that you ain't had for 20 years. I just thought about what I said. But anyways, it be like that though. Like, the moment we learn to think for ourselves, life get crazy. Life get real. Like, it's lessons and blessings to everything. Like, it's so much. I could go on a rant for hours, not gonna lie. But I'm gonna leave this at that for right now. Come back in a few. Peace. Peace and love.